Hitting in baseball is kind of a spiritual practice because you have to confront who you really are. And the reason I say that is because when we get into a pressure situation where there's not a lot of things we can control, right? There's the umpire, there's the weather, there's the pitcher, there's the field conditions. There's a lot of things that are out of our control. This is where you really start to see who you truly are, because it's very easy to be confident and cool and a good teammate when there's no pressure put on you, when you can control everything, like in practice, for example, or I don't know, if you're just hanging out with your friends. It's a lot of times it's easy to have those positive emotions and sort of put on a mask when everything is in your control. But when you get up with runner on second, 2 outs, tie game, a lot of things are out of your control. And so I think a lot of times players have a fear of failure, not because they're actually afraid of getting out, but because they're afraid of confronting who they actually are. Because that's what gets revealed when we get put in those pressure situations. Because ultimately, guys, you could hit a line drive 100 miles per hour right up the middle, the center fielder makes a diving play, you're out. You can't control that, right? Or you could tag one, but if the wind knocks it down, maybe the umpire rings you up on a bad call, what can you do, right? And so that reveals sort of your true self. And so we want to train, and this is what we do here at the school. We like to do camps. We like to compete. We have kids kind of compete against each other. We put them under pressure. We do progress tracking. So we're always tracking bat speed, exit velocity, 10-yard dash. We're tracking throwing velocity, lifting numbers, med ball speed, all sorts of different things so that kids can basically compete and be put under pressure constantly. Second of all, in BP, don't just throw them fastballs, right? We work on mix all the time. And so all of our instructors know how to throw multiple pitches for strikes from different angles too, so that we can put pressure on these kids and make it harder to hit, because of course it's good to feel good and be on time and feel confident in hitting, especially in lessons. However, we should also put pressure on them. It should feel difficult. The only way to really kind of grow and improve and make adaptations is to challenge them in some ways, right? And so that's another thing you should keep in mind with your training is put pressure on yourself. And at the end too, if you do lessons with me, you know at the end of every single lesson, we always say full count, tie game, bases loaded, championship or state championship, World Series, whatever, and let's see if you get it done. And a lot of times, a lot of kids get weirded out when we end a lesson and then it's you rolled over and you got out and you lost. And I say, oh, hey, great lesson. There's a lesson in that, right? In the sense that we need to work on, first of all, accepting that there's things that are out of our control, and also that you only get the one chance, because kids always complain like, oh, I want another hit or whatever. But that's a very important thing to work on too, is put pressure, because there's no pressure if they know they're going to get another one, right? You put pressure on them, that'll improve their mindset a ton, and it'll make kids and athletes, this isn't just for kids, it's for any college athletes, pro athletes, it'll make you better at being put under pressure when you practice it, right? And so a lot of times too, you find that when you have pent up negative emotions, they come out when you get put under pressure in games. So we get in a situation that we can't control, a bad call or whatever, that anxiety or some of those negative, darker emotions come out. So the third thing I would say that you can work on is meditation. Meditation to me is essentially just being, okay? And I'm not trying to sound all weird and spiritual when I say that. It's just the idea of focusing on what is going on in the moment. And so you can do it, I recommend doing it before bed, dark room, maybe after reading, after brushing your teeth, whatever. Relax, take some deep breaths. You can be sitting down or laying down. And then just notice, right? I like to take 5 deep breaths and sort of scan every muscle in my body. I did a video on that a while back, so you can check out the mindset little playlist in my channel for that. But so I do a little body scan, relax all the muscles, notice where the tension is. A lot of times too, if I notice there's tension in a certain muscle, like shoulders or hips are really common for most people, a lot of times there's some sort of anxiety associated with that too. Could be a lot of things. Could be work-related stress, relationships, anything, I'm in a spot in my life right now where things are going quite well for me and my family, and And that's great. But in the past, meditation has gotten me through some very difficult things. And as an athlete, you need to address that too. Because like we said, if you have those emotions, but you just push them to the side constantly because you're so busy, it's going to show up in the game when you get put under pressure. And so it's better to confront these things in a controlled environment through meditation, right? So if you just take some deep breaths, sit in a dark room, eventually some of that darker stuff is going to come up, that anxiety, that like angst, like those kinds of emotions that we like to just kind of get rid of and not think about. It'll kind of come to the surface, and the best thing you can do is just sit with it and just notice it. Don't judge it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to do anything about it. Just exist and just notice it. And then I like to think about it kind of like a little cloud. Just let it sort of float away. So you know how clouds go across the sky, and then they just slowly kind of float away, and they go out of sight. You never see them again. Think about it that way, right? So you notice it. Oh, there's the cloud. Here's my anxiety about this paper I have to write or whatever, and just let it float away, Confronting it and accepting it without judgment is probably the best way that you can get your mind right. I like to do meditation before games too. On the bus ride there, I always meditated. Depends on how long the ride is, but if you're like 10 minutes away, it's a good time to do it. Because you want to keep your nervous system regulated and relaxed too before games, because you're going to warm up anyways. There's no need to get hyped up. Baseball and softball are such long games, and there's so many ups and downs. You're running, then you're resting, right? And so because of that, there's really no need to be getting hyped up, because you're just going to come back down anyways. And so just because of the nature of the game and sort of like the fundamentals of the game, how it works, you don't need to be so hyped. So meditation is actually really helpful pre-game. It can be helpful post-game as well, because then it helps you reflect on like what you learned, how you're feeling. You can kind of analyze, is there any soreness, anything I need to stretch? A lot of times I find that athletes are not super aware of how they feel physically, emotionally, spiritually. They're not always aware of where tension is being held. A lot of times they'll get done with the game and not realize how tight their hips are. You go stretch, man. Meditation helps you just be aware, just like exist, right? A lot of times I feel like for people in this generation, or my generation specifically, I can't speak to other ones, but I'm 25, so people around that age group, we're very go, very try to keep ourselves busy and like stimulated mentally, and we never take time to like observe and just exist. So I think that's sort of the crux of this video, guys, is just exist, meditate, right? And you can do this constantly, little moments throughout the day. Just notice how you're feeling. Notice where the tension is in your body and release it, right? Just kind of look at it like it's a cloud, let it go, like we said. So I like to think about it that way. The cloud's there, it's just passing by, I see it, but I don't judge it and just let it go. You can treat all of your negative emotions and thoughts, your intrusive thoughts, like that. Everybody has them. It's better to accept it and notice them without judgment than wait until, you got bases loaded, full count, 2 outs to deal with that, So basically put yourself in those scenarios, put yourself under pressure, and you'll be good to go, But if you just avoid, it might come out in the scenario where you don't want it to, Guys, let me know if you want me to cover anything else. This topic, I got it from a question that was put in my Google form. It's in my YouTube description. It's just called Ask Tony a Question. So I guess that's sort of what this series is going to be called, is just Ask Tony a Question. As long as your questions aren't diabolical, some of you guys send some strange things to me, as long as they're related to performance or mindset or being an athlete in some way, I'll answer it for you. So you guys can give me some suggestions. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. So appreciate it, guys. See you next time. Peace.